everybody, it's Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. If you want to have a priceless experience, then you'll stay tuned to Mega Powers Radio. And remember, everybody's got a price for the $1 Million Man.
Shane McMahon has been named the vice chairman of You On Demand. Paden was just talking recently about how he thought that Shane McMahon was going to be coming back into the fold. It's not looking very likely. What do you think, Paden?
Okay, it doesn't look like it's likely to happen this year. Listen, what is Shane McMahon getting involved in? A video on demand service? Gee, I wonder if that could have any credible abilities to his resume for when he comes back. Look at all the things are lining up. Maybe it's not happening in 2016, but it's happening.
So let's play a little sort of point counterpoint here. What's the likelihood that this thing is going to happen before the other thing? What happens first? Shane McMahon comes back to WWE.
Is this like reverse Gooker of the egg?
Yeah.
I guess so. Shane McMahon comes back to WWE first, or CM Punk returns to WWE.
CM Punk returns.
CM Punk returns.
Shut up.
What's shaking, Mega Maniacs? It is Monday, February 22nd. It is the night after Fastlane, and we are officially past the Fastlane and shifted into the actual road to WrestleMania tonight. And boy, did we get it in a big way. On Raw tonight, we saw the return of the billionaire prince, Shane McMahon, making his triumphant comeback to WWE to confront his father and sister in a big segment at the beginning of the show. And that wasn't all. We had Brock Lesnar sending Dean Ambrose to the hospital. AJ Styles and Chris Jericho team up. Ryback leaves his team hanging. We have so much on this build going into WrestleMania. I don't even know where to begin when we get to this, but first I probably should begin by telling you where you are. You are listening to the Raw Post Show here on Mega Powers Radio, the most interactive post-Raw experience available. And we call it that because we love having your input all throughout the night, your thoughts, your questions, whatever you got to say. And I imagine you guys must be brewing with all types of things you want to say about it. So we're going to be inviting you all throughout the night to participate in the chat room via Twitter, via our SpeakPipe widget on megapowersradio.com. Find all those means. It's at Raw Post Show for Twitter. The chat room's right there on Mixler, and get yourself involved because we want to hear what you got to say. If you're enjoying listening to the Raw Post Show, please join us every single Monday night. And if you do like it, you can make a voluntary subscription by finding us on Patreon. We do this for free of ads or anything that's going to stop you guys from enjoying it, because we do it for the enjoyment of it. But there are costs to this. This does take time, and there actually are operating costs as well. So if you would like to help us keep things rolling here so we can bring you cool shows like this one, All Talk Show, Daceman Show, and our pay-per-view post shows like we did last night for the hell's the name of the pay-per-view? Fastlane. Then you can support us on Patreon for as little as $1 a month to help us keep bringing you all those cool programs. And also follow us on Twitter, Facebook, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, YouTube, pretty much anywhere you can support a podcast. We're on those places, so if you dig us, find us there. Starting things off tonight, we're going to have a panel of hosts. I'm the man in charge tonight, the station director here at Mega Powers Radio, and host every week here of the Raw Post Show on Mega Powers Radio. With me, I have the main man of SparkOutMoment.com and the host of Smack Talk, Mr. Tony Mango.
This just in, breaking news report, CM Punk returned at 7:59 tonight.
Oh, man. I didn't see that one. Also with me is the regular here and on Smack Talk, Mr. Stephen Wago.
You know what? I think that audio clip was doctored. I don't think I said that.
Yeah, I knew that we had talked about this recently, so I looked through the recent hot tags. That was a flashback you heard at the beginning of the show from Smack Talk episode 216. We talked about Shane McMahon recently being announced for a new CEO or vice CEO or whatever the hell it was position. I guess that didn't work out too much, or he's getting a lot of free time because, as I said at the beginning of the show, Shane McMahon making a surprise return. We had this award they've been teasing for the last week, the Vincent J. McMahon Legacy of Excellence Award or something. And a lot of us were convinced it was going to be one of two people, Triple H or Vince McMahon himself. And people have went different ways, but they actually started off saying they were giving it to Stephanie McMahon, which was almost like, well, shit, why didn't we think of that? So you had all these other people we thought of the obvious ones. But before the segment really got to kick itself off and the crowd was already starting to get heat on it, Shane McMahon surprises everybody. Nobody knew he was there. I mean, I guess there was some report that came out teasing that somebody was coming to Detroit and that Christmas was coming early, but we didn't know any idea what. I mean, people were saying Goldberg, CM Punk even was a person they were talking about. Could have even just been the Undertaker. Yeah,
that was that 7:59.
But yeah, Shane McMahon coming out to a raucous applause, one of the biggest pops you've heard in quite some time. Crowd goes nuts. They're chanting for him for a solid 3-4 minutes, going through everything from "This is awesome" to "Shane O'Mac." You still got it. They went through every possible thing you could think to go for as an adulation for Shane McMahon. Detroit loved him. I think everyone at home had to have loved this. I haven't seen too much negativity on this, although there are wrestling fans watching it, so who knows. Fellas, where are you sitting on this, though?
Worst segment ever. No, I've got nothing bad to say about this. I read about it and I'm like, nah. And then I got home and I'm like, oh, wow, this is real. Awesome. Shane fucking aged a lot, but it was still good to see him come back. He still got it on the microphone. He had great mannerisms. The crowd was eating out the palm of his hand. I'm interested to see how much he's still got left in his old age in the ring, but as long as it's overbooked chaos, it should be good.
I did not expect him to wrestle.
Yeah, I know, right?
I thought they were each going to name a champion, and that's where they would go. But he's going to wrestle in a Hell in a Cell?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like WWE realizes that they were kind of fucked with all the injuries and just threw everything. All right, we need a big return. Shane McMahon. He'll wrestle The Undertaker. Fuck it, Hell in a Cell. All right, now we'll set it on fire.
Yeah, I was just going to throw that in there. Set it on fire, and it'll be underwater somehow. When I first saw the reaction, I mean, we had heard the reports over the past couple days that something big was going to happen and that Undertaker's opponent wasn't going to be somebody on the main roster and whatever. And I was just like, well, it's probably all BS. You know, John Cena will come back and it'll be like, well, yeah, I wasn't a part of the main roster because I was inactive or something like that. Did not expect Shane McMahon, of all people, to be facing Undertaker at WrestleMania. And I'm a little bit nervous, I have to admit, because I don't really know if that's going to be like, I mean, they're both up in age now, and a Hell in a Cell match can be really brutal on the two of them or whatever. But at the same time, it's like, holy fuck, Shane McMahon's back? And at first I thought this was just going to be Triple H has Vince McMahon in his corner. Shane McMahon is in Roman Reigns' corner. I was like, okay, they're just going to announce that. That's going to be it. Shane McMahon comes in. He's got a lot of applause. Maybe you can transfer that over to Roman Reigns so we don't get as many boos at WrestleMania. I'm like, that's pretty simple. And then when it's like, oh, you're going to fight at WrestleMania, I'm like, oh, shit. Well, he's going to fight Vince then. Oh, against The Undertaker. What? And it's in Hell in a Cell? What the fuck? Like, what's the next thing that they're going to do, you know?
They're going to have, like, it be for, like, Macho Man's beard or something.
Right.
You know what they can do? They can put they can hang from the top of the cell that award that Stephanie got, so the winner has to grab that.
Oh, they even
Undertaker grabs it.
They even threw like some kind of like intriguing little angle into this where the stipulations for this where if Shane wins, he gets control of Raw and ergo pretty much control of WWE. I don't really know how the politics of that works, but that's how they explained it. And if Undertaker wins, who is going to be a representative of Vince McMahon, he gets some kind of key to a lockbox and all the contents of it, which I can only imagine is contracts at some kind of agreement or stock shares or something.
Beanie Babies.
It makes me actually believe that Shane's going to win this, and I don't know if I like that or not. I could just be wrong, but
I have two possible scenarios that are brewing in my head. One of them is Shane wins somehow.
The Undertaker wins.
Well, no. The other is that Undertaker is just beating the shit out of Shane, but Shane will not quit. Sort of like Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 26. And Undertaker is just like, why won't this guy go down? Like, what's going on here? And then, like, Vince McMahon comes out and he starts ordering Undertaker to do something so savage and so terrible to finish him off. And Undertaker's just like, nah, and walks away.
Could be a no contest.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it'll go to a no contest because they have the gimmick. If there's I think the contents of that lockbox is going to get revealed, and it's going to be a big narrative going forward into 2016.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's a lot more at stake here. Maybe Shane like owns the WWE network or something. You have to imagine that's like such a precious commodity to them. You know what I could see happening is Shane wins this. He gets control of Raw. Stephanie and Triple H get pushed down to NXT. And then, like, Shane kind of gets maniacal with power. And eventually you see Shane and Triple H, who have turned themselves babyface from being on NXT, have to come back with an army of NXT guys to fight back. Hello, Survivor Series.
I guarantee that Shane ends up heel by the end of this year.
Oh, absolutely.
Because McMahons can't stay babyface, they always turn heel. And all the McMahon family will be back together because you didn't see it coming, right?
I don't know, man. This is... See, I don't want Undertaker to lose. Undertaker never should have lost a streak, I think.
Undertaker having 2 WrestleMania losses is pretty rough, especially one of them being to Shane McMahon. Like,
right.
You can't make too much of an argument against losing to Brock Lesnar. That's totally understandable.
But at the same
they've
time,
always
it's
just-
like, what do you do instead? You know, if Shane McMahon loses, then it's just like,
You know, I've actually got a lot of faith that this match will deliver because of Shane's work with Kane.
I don't know, but a lot of the reason Shane's match is delivered is because he was willing to go out there and take extreme risks that normal people wouldn't because they have to work.
The dude's a McMahon. He'll do whatever it takes. People aren't normal.
You were saying before how he looks a lot older, and when I saw him, I thought he reminded me a lot of what Vince looked like pretty much the last time Shane was around, like right after Vince got his head shaved and he started growing his hair back and it never really had that same poof as it did before.
Mm-hmm.
He looked like Vince around that era.
So the lockbox thing is supposed to be something that Vince doesn't want to get out, right?
Like what's inside it?
Like it's like got secrets that he doesn't want to get out, or
He
it's
was
got...
kind of vague about it, so maybe.
If that's the case, Undertaker can win and just respect Shane McMahon enough to unlock the box.
What?
Just be like, you did a good job, kid. Or, well, guy, now that he's like 50 or whatever. And just go, you know what? Even though I won technically, here's the lockbox. Go at it. Because Undertaker being a heel in this match would be really weird. And if he's a babyface, he should be like, yo, fuck Vince. You know?
I could see
dynamic.
Undertaker being loyal to Vince in the storyline.
And anyone who would see it in a real life, I think Undertaker's got a lot of real life respect for Vince. I think he has a decent amount of kayfabe respect for Vince, but more importantly, I think he's got a tremendous amount of kayfabe respect for Triple H. So I think that's something that could come into play in this overall story too, because he's still that bloodline.
And maybe they're going to try to justify it with if Undertaker turns heel, people will want to see him lose.
Perhaps.
So it'll be like, kind of easier pill to swallow.
Man,
I don't care if he loses at Mania anymore. Like, that's the whole thing. They always said as long as he's got that streak, he's untouchable. Well, the streak's gone.
But don't forget, this is in Texas.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
not.
fuck.
I forgot about that.
God damn.
I feel so bad for this crowd at this WrestleMania because they got to deal with that and the whole Triple H Roman Reigns thing.
And Brock Lesnar, Dean Ambrose.
Oh, I mean, everyone's cheering for Dean in that.
You know what, though? I think that Taker vs. Shane match, perhaps you just get excited when anyone does anything cool.
I punched him. I punched him back. I punched him back again.
Actually, that's going to be cool as hell. Shane dropping the Shane Shuffle and Taker doing like his quick jabs. That's going to be fun. I fucking like pumped for this match already.
WrestleMania in general made a pretty good about face from where it was looking 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, no kidding. But the year before and the year before that, we're like, this card's kind of shitty. This build's kind of shitty, and the shows were awesome. So maybe now that we've got a good card, it's gonna like just fucking tank.
Always a possibility, man. But I'm feeling a lot of good vibes right now. I thought Fastlane was a decent show, and I thought we had a tremendous Raw tonight. As long as they keep doing well, and they're in a lot of hot cities going the next few weeks. You're talking about Chicago, New York City. I forget where the other one they're going to.
Yeah, they're going on the Boo Roman tour.
You saying Boo or Boo Roman? Boo Roman? Okay.
Maybe?
So, anything to say about the Legacy Award? I mean, that kind of just got pushed to the background. So I guess we'll never see that again. It's a shame because it was a nice looking award.
I was kind of hoping that Shane would just tip it over.
It's like fart on it or something like that. She doesn't want it anymore.
We had our first match after this. Felt bad for these guys having to go on after that. New Day versus Lucha Dragons and Neville. The crowd actually still had a lot of fire in them once this match started, but they kind of killed them towards the end of it. The match just seemed really unimportant. New Day got a meaningless victory on it. They did some stupid inbox promo when they were coming out about booty-os and eating them when you're booty. It's like, God damn it. Didn't we just talk about this last night? Like, you say booty too much. Cut it.
It doesn't even make any sense either.
Okay, what I do have some positives about this match. The two 450 spots at Neville and I think it was Kalisto did. Neville did one off the apron, and then Kalisto jumped off Neville's back and did a 450.
So it'd be
then
the
ending of the match
spot.
and then the ending of the match absolutely sucked and was kind of clunky. But other than that, that was cool.
There's your U.S. champ.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh shit, I forgot he was the US champ.
Yep.
Yeah, Del Rio should have won.
Continues to look like he shouldn't be holding that title. And you know what? I don't know what we're going to be doing with him at WrestleMania, but they're proving more and more lately that dude is not getting an important match. He's getting pre-show, if anything. And it's not going to be a singles match either.
Well, at least we know he's good at doing pre-show matches.
Yeah, but that's still kind of like shitty. You know what I mean?
We had Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman coming out. If you hadn't seen the video, it was on YouTube, it was on their Facebook, and they played it about 4 or 5 times throughout Raw tonight. Dean Ambrose, as he was entering the arena around the parking entrance, was viciously attacked by Brock Lesnar, thrown onto the windshield of a car, eventually had to be carted out with a neck brace on a stretcher, taken away to the nearest medical facility, not a hospital, and had to be worked on. And we had updates throughout the night where Roman Reigns said, "Oh, we don't know what's happening. I'm just gonna be Roman Reigns." And during Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar out there doing their usual shtick, all of a sudden we hear ambulance sirens, and I thought we were getting another return with Scott Steiner, but unfortunately that was not the case. It was Dean Ambrose returning in, jumps out of the driver's seat, and I like how a lot of times when they do this kind of thing, like when Austin did it, or I think Cena's done it, I'm sure other people have done it, whenever they return from the hospital, they always get out of it and they're all like full of piss and vinegar and are ready just to kick everybody's ass. Dean Ambrose had to like struggle out of this thing and had to like claw to get his neck brace off and was like slowly walking to the ring, that by the time he got there, Brock Lesnar just like walked over him. Paul Heyman dropped the mic right on Dean's head. And as Brock Lesnar continues to walk away, Dean grabs that microphone, says he wants Lesnar at Mania in a no disqualification match, prompting Lesnar to come down, F5 him on the floor mats. And Paul Heyman says, well, in case you couldn't tell, he accepts. There's another fire match we have added to the card. We were pretty sure after that last night, but it is confirmed now. Brock Lesnar, Dean Ambrose, set for WrestleMania in a street fight.
So First off, for those who didn't know, CM Punk was the driver of that ambulance.
That still would have happened after Shane McMahon.
Second off, the reason why Dean collapsed was because, as you said, typically when they come back from these kind of things, they're filled with piss and vinegar. Something went wrong with his IV. Third, I'm really happy that we got this confirmed as a street fight, because if this would have been, say, an Extreme Rules match, it would have sucked. Very excited for this, actually, though. This is really cool. And this is the type of thing where as soon as they started alluding to the idea that these two were going to continue on and have some kind of a feud, we could tell it was going to be some kind of like no DQ thing, which is awesome. And it was just like, yes, we're not getting the Wyatt family.
That's actually what I was more happy about. Not so much that it's going to be Dean versus Brock, and I'm very happy that Dean got the opportunity because that's a huge spot on the card. But more just relief that I don't have to see Bray Wyatt wrestle Brock Lesnar.
So what is the Wyatt family going to do at WrestleMania then?
Who the fuck cares at this point?
Thank you. I agree. The only cool match I could think of if you just wanted to do something different is the Wyatt family versus the League of Nations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess you could do that. You know what would be great is if Luke Harper and Eric Rowan separated themselves and you could have them versus Bray and Braun.
Yeah, but then I gotta watch Bray Wyatt wrestle still.
And
Well,
Braun
worse off, you
Strowman.
got to watch Braun Strowman. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
you wouldn't have Luke Harper to cover them in their side. You'd be too
I
busy
like
doing your own thing.
I like my idea better.
Yeah, I guess they probably are going to do nothing. Maybe they're going to interfere in something. Oh, maybe they're going to interfere in the Undertaker match.
Oh, that's totally something they'd get their fucking hands on, wouldn't it? Aw.
Well, one thing that they're doing is they seem like they're kind of throwing a lot of tag teams in together. And I doubt that they would really give that much attention to the Ascension that they mentioned last night. But it's a possibility. And if we get the New Day, the Ascension, the Usos, the Dudley Boys, League of Nations, maybe the Wyatt family's going to be involved in that too.
Oh, what if we have like a big gang warfare match where you'll have like League of Nations, Wyatt family, Social Outcasts.
Yeah, Social Outcasts too. I forgot about them.
Is there
Lucha
anyone?
Dragons.
Would they? I guess you could just put Neville in with them.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. You know what's a good use for all of these guys? Do you remember WrestleMania 2000 where they just had that hardcore match where everybody had to just try and get the last pinfall before the timer was up?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
one
cool.
where the guy
The
accidentally
one they
won.
fucked up.
Yeah,
Yeah. So the match they did once and fucked up. That'd be the perfect use of all these guys.
yeah, they're pretty good at fucking things up once, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. We had something good to talk about this, didn't we?
Shit, Ambrose and Lesnar?
Yeah,
was it?
Ambrose and Lesnar. We were enjoying talking about something. I don't know how we got down the Wyatt family rabbit hole. Lesnar and Ambrose, they're going to be great. Ambrose, of course, has a very heavy hardcore background, so I'm sure we'll see him pulling out a lot of tricks that we probably haven't seen him use in WWE just yet. And Lesnar, of course, is a tough son of a bitch, and he's going to throw Dean Ambrose all over the damn place.
That could end up being the most fun match of the night.
It could be, as long as Lesnar doesn't knock himself at the start of the match again.
I hope they go backstage.
Oh, that'd be cool.
They don't do that enough in these kind of matches. And if you look at like the Hell in a Cell match, that's going to be, quite literally locked down to just that section of the arena. Make that different. Make them go all over the fucking place.
And you know what? Like a perfect example of a WrestleMania hardcore match, which was amazing because they went backstage. Kane, Raven, and the Big Show.
Yes, love that match.
So, and that was such a weird pairing of guys, but they could have a lot of fun with that if they let them go backstage.
Vasily makes a good point. It'll take them half an hour to get to the backstage area at WrestleMania.
Good. You could use that time to get rid of the Wyatt family match.
Oh, they could do like one of those fun gimmicks where the match kind of just disappears for a while, and then they start doing other matches, and the match interferes every once in a while throughout the rest of the night.
They have
Like Backlot Brawl.
They have another Kid Rock live performance, and they come out and just trash it.
That'd be great. That is what they did the last time they were in Texas, right? Piss poor.
Well, yeah, Kid Rock did trash it.
And then Kevin Owens can come out and powerbomb him off the stage.
That'd be a big stage too. I'm all for that.
Dudley Boys came out taunting the Usos as they were coming out for a match against the Ascension. What a surprise. Usos win. The Ascension could not be more laughable. I could not care less about the Usos, and I wish the Dudley Boys were doing something better.
I actually like the promo. I thought the Dudley Boys are probably the best tag team they've got right now. And they're building a storyline for themselves. They don't want to be considered a novelty act anymore. They're going to get heat by not giving the fans the tables. I like this character turn. I don't necessarily like the fact that I've got to watch the Usos, but if it means the Dudley Boys will be doing something else after this, I'm all for it.
Kind of don't care.
I don't care. I want to like the Dudleys because I like what they're doing right now, but the whole program they're doing right now is awful.
It's not really like bad to me. It's not something that's particularly engaging either. It's just sort of there, and I'm kind of just
I think
more
it's a
concerned with
perfect-
what they're going to do at WrestleMania than what they're leading up to now. Like, you turned heel, it's done. What's it going to be after this?
I think this is perfect for one of those just mid-card filler feuds, and there's a necessity for that, so I'm down with it.
We get Chris Jericho coming out, calling AJ Styles out because he wants to speak to him, and then gives him nothing but props. Shakes his hand, saying that he showed that he deserves to be there. All right, well, you know what? After this is all said and done, AJ Styles looks good in this. So good for him. Social Outcasts interrupt this, though. They do not like the love fest going on inside the ring. I loved Curtis Axel doing like this handshake while going, "Doi, shaking hands, doi." it was cute. They set up a tag match with AJ Styles and Jericho going against Curtis Axel and Heath Slater, with Team Y2AJ, as they were called, getting the victory. This, again, you want to talk about a time-filling segment, that's what this was. But it did manage to accomplish the follow-up of that match last night. Some kind of temporary alliance with AJ and Jericho. Probably was just for one night, but it was cool to see them team together now after them having those matches against each other. And this is exactly what you probably would always want to use something like the Social Outcasts for. So there's really nothing bad that happened here.
No, another like non-offensive kind of thing. It was filler. But we had a lot on this episode, so it's okay to have a little bit of filler.
And I actually like this because if you're going to keep Jericho a babyface, it's good to have both babyfaces looking strong at the end of the feud.
And to clearly move past the idea that, you do the handshake and it's fine. Although I still kind of don't get the whole idea of, hey, motherfucker, shake my hand, I like you. Like that kind of thing. What they do at the pay-per-view, it's a little bit weird. But
It's a
usually
monster
that's,
thing.
usually that's the end of it, though. And I like that this had a follow-up of just kind of like, yep, the handshake was because I respect you. Let's tag together now. They don't need to be like some, legitimate tag team going for it or anything like that. But hey, it's Monday Night Raw. You're going to have filler anyway. Why not have them tag up? And it solidifies it a little bit more.
Let me say this, Social Outcasts, they were on point tonight, and I've typically not liked what they've been doing. I found the promos kind of too awkward to get into. Tonight was fun.
Even Adam Rose?
He was... He's still Adam Rose.
I could physically hear you, the pain of you trying to get that out of your mouth.
I'm just like, no.
Oh, Bo was fantastic. Yes, I want to do him saying he loved Bo tonight. He was great tonight and last night. Bo was, I think, the star of whenever they come out.
I was being sarcastic. Me too.
Or last night he was just talking about always being safe. Safety first. We get another one of these terrible segments with R-Truth and Goldust, where Goldust tries to give R-Truth a cake, and somehow the cake ends up in Goldust's face.
Yep, as soon as I saw this segment, I'm like, Goldust's face is going to be in that cake.
Yeah,
Look, Goldust's face is in that cake.
exactly.
And I was thinking to myself, God damn, why did I already take a piss at that last commercial break?
We had a 6-man tag rematch from last night. Ryback, Big Show, and Kane going against the Wyatt family members with Bray Wyatt at ringside. Only things had a little bit of a different twist tonight when Kane goes for a tag and Ryback jumps down for the apron and walks out on his team, allowing the Wyatt family to get the victory. Afterward, he's approached and says that he is a man who has to stand on his own. He's not looking to make any kind of alliances. It's nothing personal, but it's time for him to break through the glass ceiling and grab the brass ring.
break it and take it.
Yeah, very
He
nice.
rhymes now.
Hey, Ryback?
He probably stayed up all night thinking of that.
Break
Ryback's-
it and grab it. I mean,
I bet he regresses into a ball and just calls himself a dumb fuck when he screws up. Then he's scarred by CM Punk. I'm a dumb fuck. Poor Ryback. Yeah, I think he actually has a chance to do something out of this.
Oh, you mean
That
like
semi-heel
win
turn.
the Andre the Giant Battle Royal?
That'd be great if he did that. Yes, Paden, you said that.
And what else did I say?
I'm pretty sure that you said Bret Hart's better than Shawn Michaels. Shawn is a whiny bitch.
if you want to bring up what you said last night about the Flares,
Oh yeah, do you want to bring that up?
Why? Listen, as I said, if WWE can make jokes about it, so can I. We had a match with Sasha Banks and Naomi, speaking of flares. Tamina interferes in this match, but Becky comes for the save. Sasha taps out Naomi with the bank statement, and this is here where the flares come in. Charlotte and Rick come out to the stage. She played some trick on them where she was like, Becky, watch out! And Becky like turns around, getting ready to fight Sasha. It was clever, I guess. But you just made them. I got you, Becky. Wasn't really Sasha coming for you. Whatever. I'm not sold on this. This was another one of those diva segments you just skipped.
Yep. I have to skip certain things to catch up with you guys, so.
This was the second last segment of the show.
Yep.
Okay. We had our main event, Sheamus versus Roman Reigns. Was there some kind of stipulation on this match? I don't even remember what that was.
Roman had to look strong.
Oh, okay. Well, Roman wasn't looking too strong. Sheamus had the upper hand until eventually Roman did get the comeback. And as he was finally looking like he might have victory in hand, Triple H comes out. And not just any Triple H, but this is the Triple H of old. He's got the big leather jacket, so he looks like a freaking monster as he comes out. He comes down and just beats the shit out of Roman Reigns. He smacks his face into the announce table like a dozen times. Then he just grabs him by the face and lays a few fists into him. Roman is left in a bloody mess. You see blood smeared all over the announcer's desk. This was a violent scene. Raw goes off the air. Triple H holding up the belt as the crowd was cheering him on. Sure, not the intended reaction.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was. They had Triple H look very dominant, and Triple H is a heel. He just came out there and whooped him. He didn't do anything dastardly. I guess you could say Roman had just been wrestling, but still, that was pretty dominant. And it was awesome. And I'm pretty sure blood was intentional. I'm sure if they're questioned, they'll say, oh, it was an accident, but that was just good.
So what are they going to do? Fire Triple H?
But, shit, that came out of, like, nowhere. Caught me by surprise, much like the opening segment did, and I loved every moment of it. It added an intensity to this feud which was really lacking, and it elevated it significantly.
kind of really didn't do that much.
Wow, yeah, wow indeed.
Hi, Sean.
I mean, this was expected. That's why it's just kind of, it didn't really do that much
You
crazy
just
to me.
expected Triple H to show up and just whoop his ass?
Yep.
You expected Triple H to wear the leather jacket?
Not necessarily the leather jacket, but I expected that there'd be some kind of a confrontation and Triple H would be on top. You got to start to build on the whole idea of Roman Reigns needs to work his way up and have a triumphant victory. So, of course, he's going to look weak in comparison.
Yeah, well, I expected shenanigans from the Authority that kept tripping up Roman Reigns on the way to the WrestleMania, but I didn't expect Triple H just to come out there the night after Fastlane and just whoop his ass.
Roman did not look very strong there.
It's not a bad thing by any means. It's just I'm not going to be like ranting and raving all over it. They needed to do something like this. It's a hell of a lot better than struggling over the title. So if they can keep the momentum up and the crowd can still be into these kind of things, and we don't get like that sort of weird habit that they do every once in a while where we're going to get like beatdowns that go on too long at the end of every episode of Monday Night Raw, that'll be a mistake. So don't start getting into that kind of habit. But now we need some kind of retaliation for Roman Reigns. And if it's good, then that should keep things going. If it's bad, then they're going to have to figure out something other than another beatdown. Because you can't just do like, well, now they're going to do the contract signing where they fight each other. And then they're going to do the promo where they get in the ring and they fight each other. And then whatever. Because then by that point, you're just going to be like, all right, well, how many times do they need to scuffle and get separated before we have the match?
I want to see Roman get taken out for 2 weeks. I wanted to see him break out the sledgehammer.
Ooh.
I was hoping we'd get that tonight, and I'm like, oh. But I guess
I think that would have stepped it up a little bit for me. Sledgehammer. I mean, I wouldn't have thought he would have gone that far.
I mean, he was pretty dead, but he could have been deader.
Well, out of all the matches that we saw built tonight, guys, we had Triple H and Roman, we had Brock Lesnar and Dean Ambrose, we have Shane McMahon and Undertaker. This is pretty much our 3 major matches for the WrestleMania card. Which ones are you looking at the most?
I'm most excited for Ambrose Lesnar.
Shane versus Undertaker.
I thought Shane
I got an
McMahon
idea
was
of what
dead.
versus Lesnar is going to look like. Shane and Undertaker's intriguing to me.
That's exactly
Shane
what
McMahon is TV14 legend. Fuck Vince and his hooker daughter. The only person worse is Eva Marie. Internet wrestling community.
Taker, and it could be awkward.
I think it's going to be overbooked chaos, and honestly, their WrestleMania track record with that's been pretty good.
Overbooked chaos?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much ever since the Floyd Mayweather match, they've been good with those.
Anybody else think that Overbooked Chaos sounds like an ECW pay-per-view?
No, but it sounds like a band I used to play bass for. So before we start headed into the final parts of the show, we got a voice message in from our SpeakPipe widget. This comes in from Hyde.
I thought Shane McMahon was dead.
Thank you, Hyde. Shane McMahon was not dead, luckily. He came in and
No, he looked halfway there.
He was only mostly dead.
He could have been deader.
Well, with that, we are going to start heading the final parts of the show. Still some time to get your tweets or whatever you want out there, so tweet to us at Raw Post Show. Get some comments in the chat room, or you can even get a voicemail in on the SpeakPipe widget. But for now, we're going to head into the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're going to talk about the worst part of the show, the best part of the show, and the most god-awful must-avoid part of the show. If you have a GBU, drop it in the chat, and we'll read it after ours. Yes, it is the good, the bad, and the ugly. Tony, what's your GBU?
All right. Well, my good's gonna be Shane McMahon. Come on, no need to explain that one. Bad's gonna be how they turned Ryback. And originally, before they did that turn, my bad was gonna be that people still keep chanting the Goldberg-Gilbert chants. Which is just like, it's not funny anymore, guys. It wasn't really that funny to begin with. But holy shit, I don't care. He looks somewhat like that guy. You don't do that for everybody else, do you? So hopefully they'll stop it. I highly doubt that they will now that he's a heel. So that's kind of annoying. But I just think that the way that they turned him was pretty lame. I don't like the I'm going to leave in the middle of the match and I'd rather lose the match and make a statement kind of turn. It doesn't make much sense, you know? And the ugly, R-Truth and Goldust continue to fucking keep this thing going on. Hasn't been entertaining since day one. I'm tired of it. Been tired of it for a while. And they ruined a perfectly good cake.
I would eat the shit out of that cake.
Goddamn
Fuck,
right.
I still will. Just peel it off Goldust. It's fine. Just a little gold frosting on it. Wago, your GBU.
My good has to go to that opening segment. There was just like, fuck it, well, Shane McMahon, race cars, Ken, Undertaker,
T-Rexes.
I'm just like, just keep doing this. This is great. Bad has to go. It's hard giving out something too bad on the show. Most of it was good. The New Day, they're just not funny.
Yep.
The ugly has to go to the Goldust and R-Truth segment.
Get one out of the chat here. Wazili saying the good, Shane bad, Divas ugly, Hillary Clinton ad. Oof, that kind of came out of nowhere. Usually don't see too many politics come on in the WWE show.
Yo, dog.
And out of all of them, Hillary, you think it would be Trump? You think they would like cut a deal to get Trump on there on the cheap? Silent One to Doom saying good, Shane McMahon. Duh. Also, the Wyatts abusing Byron. Bad, Charlotte coming out and weirdly wearing Nikki's top. Ugly, they ruined my favorite kind of cake. Was it yellow cake? Is that what it was?
Fucked up cake.
Gold cake. My good is also going to Shane McMahon. I think that's pretty much unanimous all around. That was just a kick-ass segment. I don't know how anyone could possibly think it was anything else. Bad, I'm going to give that to the New Day as well. These guys have just been... I said they had good nights and bad nights, so they've been having a fairly consistent round of bad nights for quite some time now. Think the act has run its course. Ugly, I have to give it to that same R-Truth and Goldust segment. I was intrigued by this at first, but I'm getting turned off to it quicker and quicker every single week. All right, guys, we have one last thing we are going to do this week, and that is the games. As I know lots of people tend to like the games. So we are going to do this starting off with our warm-up game of Tap Out. As everyone who listens knows, but for those who are hearing this for the first time, it's called Tap Out. And the way we play this is that I am going to give a topic, and then the hosts here will go back and forth, naming examples of the topic until they have exhausted anything that they can think of, where they will then have to tap out to the opponent, who will win. This will be for 2 bonus points to get started here before we go into our main game. And looking at my records here, it looks like the last winner was Tony. Looks like he's a 3-time winner of the last games, actually. So
I won last week's by default.
Okay, that you're not completely wrong, but I'm still going to give Tony first shot here. So this week's topic is, and I did this last week for some reason. I don't remember. I actually prepared all these games for last week, and since it was just me and Wago, we didn't play them. But it had something to do with what happened last week, and it is weather-related things in wrestling. So this could be wrestlers or moves or just something that somehow has to do with wrestling and the weather. Tony, you started off.
That's really generic. Does it count when Undertaker can create lightning?
Yes. Wago?
Hurricane Rana.
Jesus Christ, really?
A hurricane?
That's not what it means.
Yeah, it does.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't...
No.
Things
So
run like
it's
a hurricane.
Rana. It could be Hurricane Rana.
Pretty sure Hurricane Rana is just Spanish for Frankensteiner.
No, it isn't.
I think... Either way, I'm not counting that. Yeah, earthquake. Okay, there you go. Like, there's a typhoon.
I could have said the hurricane. I should have just gone with
Yeah,
that.
the hurricane. Jesus.
Texas tornado?
Texas
I
tornado.
really need to go for a piss. I'm not thinking right now.
I actually, you know what I was going to do? If you would have had a couple more, I was going to save Texas tornado. And I was going to go, when Kane can summon lightning. When Bray Wyatt can summon lightning.
Well, unfortunately, you didn't even get there. Wago blew it on the first one. So, Tony, starting off with 2 points. Our main game we're going to play tonight is
a hard one.
the Gooker, or the Egg. For you first-timers, the way we play this one is I'm going to give each of these guys an example of 2 events, and they are going to name which one they think came first. I will then reveal the answer, and whoever got it right will get a point. You guys remember this one, yeah?
Who are you?
I'm not the Gooker, that's for sure. All right, fellas, Gooker or the Egg, tell me which came first. Bob Backlund wins the WWE title for the first time ever, or Ric Flair has a plane crash. Tony, what do you think?
Flair's plane crash?
Okay. Wago, which one do you think happened first?
Flair's plane crash.
Ric Flair fell from the sky on October 4th, 1975. I have no sympathy for the Flair family. What can I say? Bob Backlund did not win that first title until February 20th, 1978. It's a Point for each of you guys. Good job.
That was a tough one. I'm like, when did Ric Flair stop being tiny? Sorry, stop being huge. He was like fucking a brick before.
Mm-hmm. All right, which one of these happened first, fellas? Big Show debuts in WCW as the Giant, or Bob Backlund wins the WWE title for the second time?
Fuck.
Tony, you want to take a stab?
I'm gonna say Backlund wins the title. It comes last. Or no, wait. Backlund comes first.
Okay, Wago.
You said it's the second time he won it?
Mm-hmm.
That was actually quite a bit after his... Fuck. He came back as the crazy heel. I'm trying to think what it could be.
You're stalling.
have to go... Show. Show was first.
Show was first?
Yeah.
All right, well, Big Show debuted in WCW as the Giant at Halloween Havoc on October 29th, 1995. Bob Backlund won that title for the second time from Bret Hart on November 23rd, 1994.
Yes.
So Bob Backlund was the first one on that.
Oh, by the way, Silent Wind of Doom translated it. I was right. It was Hurricane, bitch.
Hurricane Ramirez was the ring name. Oh, shit. Well, then.
I still think I should get a point since I had more examples afterward.
I was going to say those exact examples.
So I'll tell you what, I'm going to be fair, I'll split that point amongst each of you then. We're not going to go back and replay it. We're going to continue this one, where currently Tony leads by 1 point, but we still have a few more to get through here. Guys, which happened first? Paige, the current WWE Diva, was born, or Yokozuna wins the Royal Rumble? Wago, which happened first?
I don't know what year he won the Rumble. I even knew he won the Rumble. Go with Yokozuna first.
Tony?
I'm assuming it's close, but I'm going to go with Paige was born first.
Yokozuna won the 1993 Royal Rumble, which was in January of that year. Paige was born in August 7th of the year 1992.
Woo.
Just narrowly older than Yokozuna's win at the Royal Rumble.
I knew she was young. I thought I'd chance it.
I actually thought she might have been born in 91.
All right, guys. Here is a really interesting one. Which happened first? John Cena makes his main roster debut, or Vince McMahon became a grandfather? Tony?
Goddamn. Vince becomes a grandfather first.
Wago?
Cena debuted first.
Vince McMahon became a grandfather when Shane McMahon had his first child on February 13th of 2004. Very fitting, actually, that as we did this one this week instead of last week. John Cena made his main roster debut on June 27th of the year 2002.
Damn.
That was on that match.
Yeah, the reason I remembered that is because the opening segment of WrestleMania 20 had his kid in.
Oh, yeah. About the generational thing.
Mm-hmm. Which is kind of fitting after tonight.
I actually, for some reason, was just thinking about Triple H and Stephanie's kids.
Oh.
Totally forgot about Shane.
Well, there you go. Wago gets the point on that one. Tallying up the points here, Wago has 3 points. Tony, you got 4.
Copyright claim.
You can't tell, but my arms are going up in slow motion victory right now.
I was hoping it was slow motion.
So, Tony, with your victory, you get to choose how Wago has to read the plugs of tonight's show.
How many points did Drew
Throw
get?
out some suggestions in the chat, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I came across a single
Since we're going to wait for
suggestion.
people to throw out suggestions in the chat, I'm just going to stand here and stall like Stone Cold did on this week's podcast while he was waiting for the Big Show to come in. Because
that means
Wago
Wago
time while he was waiting for him to come in. And just
that means Wago can take a piss.
Yeah, well, Wago's going to go to the bathroom, and I'm just going to keep talking while we're waiting for Wago to take that bathroom break and waiting for some people to talk in the chat, giving us suggestions. We're waiting for one. I see one from Wazili saying to do it as Pete Gas from the Mean Street Posse. I'm not sure how that one would really work.
I saw one as Nelson Mandela. We're going to stay away from that one.
I don't even know how you would do a Nelson Mandela impression.
Me either. That's why. It would just be offensive, I'm sure.
Yeah. Do it as a weatherman. That's not a bad one.
That's actually not a bad one. Yeah.
When he comes back, he's going to enjoy that one.
That one weatherman guy on YouTube. Oh, the one guy, yeah.
Yeah, that's the best weatherman ever. No, I don't think we've ever done that before.
Oh, that was a cracking piss. So what are we doing?
Looks like the running theme right now is that you're going to do it as a weatherman.
Okay. Okay, somebody has to throw it to me, though. Like, and here's Stephen Wago with the weather.
Good, Tony. No? I'm sure you've always wanted to say it.
And joining us for the plugs and the weather itself as well, Stephen Wago. Wago, what's going on with this, guys?
Thank you, Tony. Here we are, and behind me on this radio station, I have a map that you cannot see. I am pointing over towards the clouds where it seems that we have some smarkoutmoment.com coming in from the west. It's looking pretty gnarly up there. You probably should check out Wednesdays for Smack Talk. Fridays if Sean decides to not do it. So we're taking over here, and it seems right around the shithole around Flint, Michigan, a lot of brown stuff. That sucks. Anyway, so right between this great beam of light, it's coming down onto at Stephen Wago on Twitter. It's a beautiful handle. And flying down from the sky is just a rain of Patreon accounts that you can donate to at Mega Powers Radio.
I thought you were going to say Ric Flair.
And they just struck David Flair in the head, and now he's dead too. It's a shame for that family.
I don't think anyone's going to miss him.
He's a bit of a fuck-up, right?
The Flair flop. All right, well, that was not too bad.
It could have gotten a lot worse.
It could have been much, much worse. Well, if you enjoyed this edition of the Raw Post Show and you want to hear people talk about Raw anytime it goes off the air, you should tune your browser to megapowersradio.com. It's the place to be for the most interactive post-Raw experience available. The Raw Post Show here on Mega Powers Radio. And if you cannot make it here live, though, but you still want to hear the broadcast, it's on iTunes, it's on Stitcher, it's on YouTube, it's on TuneIn, and links to all of these are easily found at our home on smarkoutmoment.com, where other wrestling content can be found. Since you can't go to wrestlingcontent.com anymore, website has been absolved. So, folks, until next week, I'm Mike Paden, for Stephen Wago, and for Tony Mango. We'll catch y'all on the flip-flop.
Attention maggots, this is Sergeant Slaughter from WWE and G.I. Joe, the real American hero. You're listening to Mega Power Radio. Don't touch that dial. And that's an order.